and we don't realize that life, marriage, like anything, has seasons. Seasons change. For example, your job, as you said, is very demanding right now. That means that I had to step up, and stepping up required me to come out of the mold of what I thought marriage would look like in that season.
Marriage was a place where the Lord was really sanctifying who I am, and sanctifying my character, sanctifying my, my need to be the center, because now you're no longer the center.
The husband that I need to become or be is the husband that you need in the season that you're in right now. So because your job is so demanding, I can't expect you to come back from being on your feet from 9 to 5, sometimes 6, 7, 8 on certain days, and expect you to still be in the kitchen on your feet cooking a meal for me.
So I think that's the biggest thing that I learned with marriage is just your heart posture, how you speak, how you, everything about me was just like, whoa, it was a big change. And you notice certain things and you're like, so, here, I'm like, but that's how I've always been. That's who I am, but the Lord is like, daughter, you need to work on this here.
Hello guys, welcome back. Well, not really welcome back. Welcome to Young and Married with the Lepakus. This is officially our first episode.
Yes.
All right. And for the first episode, I think we really decided to speak about something that is quite a little bit controversial. I'm sure you guys can see the topic on the screen, baby. What are we talking about today?
What we didn't know about marriage.
Yes.
What we didn't know, yeah.
There was a lot of advice that we got before we got married, a lot of valuable advice, really. And we were surrounded by some amazing people that mentored us, that walked with us, that led us, and just making sure that we were really ready for this big step that we're going to take. But even with all that amazing mentorship that we had from the people that we had in our life, there's still some things that we were not ready for. And I think that it was an amazing journey because, and this is the thing that I feel like a lot of young people are afraid of, is feeling like I'm not ready. What if I get married and this happens? What if I choose a person only to find out that this person is not the right person for me? But the thing about this is that you can never really truly be ready to get married, right? There is a divine desire that God gives you to be married. But just like everything else in life that is a major jump, you can never really be ready. You get in there and you learn certain things, and that's what makes marriage beautiful. It's the journey of discovering each other, learning each other, learning how to be more sacrificial as a husband, learning how to take care of your spouse, love your spouse, regardless of whatever it is season that you're going through. Because the person that I am today is not the person that I was when I got married. So the same with my wife. So there's a lot of things that we were not ready for, and today we want to invite you guys into this conversation, and we're going to share a few things that we don't think we were ready for, but we learned with God's grace and with amazing people around us and friends around us. I'm going to ask this first to my wife, baby. What do you think is the first thing that you were not ready for?
Okay, so firstly, with me, I learned about the word sanctification.
Ooh, wait, before that's a big, what does that mean?
Sanctification is basically a process where the Lord is like cleaning your heart, where He's like adjusting your character, and all of those things. I had no clue that there was such a thing, I had never heard of that word. I've heard of holiness, I'd heard of salvation, of course, but that word sanctification, I never heard of that. And for me, I feel like marriage was a place where the Lord was really sanctifying who I am, and sanctifying my character, sanctifying my, my need to be the center, because now you're no longer the center. Now you always need to think of the other person before you think of yourself in a way, in terms of like how, okay, now this whole thing, I'm in this with you, so now it's no longer just about me, you know, whereas previously all the decisions were about me, you know. So I think that that's the biggest thing that I learned with marriage is just your heart posture, you know, how you speak, you know, how you, everything about me was just like, whoa, you know, it was a big change. And you notice certain things and you're like, so, you know, here, I'm like, but that's how I've always been. That's who I am, you know, but the Lord is like, daughter, you need to work on this here, you need to, and I think slowly but surely, I think the Lord is really, I mean, I'm still in the process. I don't think that it's a lifelong journey that you're always in. So I think that was the biggest thing, I think, for me that I learned. I just thought that, you know, it's gonna be about, I don't know what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was just gonna be, I remember my friends and I speaking about marriage this one.
I was about to ask that actually. I was about to ask that, and I was about to ask a question, because the idea around marriage is centered basically around, you know, the woman is just gonna be treated like a princess, like a queen, and you're meeting your knight in shining armor, and he's just gonna answer everything and sort out all your issues in life. You mentioned that you are speaking to your friends. I'm assuming that where you're going to is everything that you guys were talking how marriage would be like. So just speak into that a little.
Yeah, so my friends and I were talking, I think it was like before my wedding. And we're just talking about how, you know, my husband's gonna bring flowers every day. And like all these things.
You're not even a flower person.
I'm not even a flower person. I like them from time to time,
of course,
but it's not like, you know, So, but it's just this romanticized version. There's no sacrifice. There's no sanctification. There's discussion. We didn't even talk about. That's a whole other topic. It was like, no, we're talking about what he's gonna do for me. It was about me. You know, like he's gonna do this for me and this and me. It's about me, but it was never about what I'm gonna do for him, you know. And we were speaking about how I'm gonna bake, like we're gonna bake cookies and the household. It's just like these external things that, I mean, are good. I'm not saying they're bad. They're very good, but I don't think that that's what
marriage is.
And I mean, I'm not even a baker like that. And I was so excited. I'm gonna do this. And I'm just like, when you got there, you're like, that's not what the foundation of this is about. So that's my thing,
So what do you think? What do you think marriage with the 5 years of marriage that we have right now? What do you think marriage is about now for you? What season? Let me ask this in a way that is more relatable to you. What season of marriage do you think you're in right now that you were not taught before you got married?
That's a good question. Seasons in marriage change because life is. Like
because you change as a person.
Yes, you change as a person. Like I just started working recently.
Right.
So that has been very challenging because I have a very, very demanding job. And I once listened to this person telling, that was just sharing, Guguti, it's important for you to know which hat to wear in which season. So some seasons you can be, I don't know, you can be this and that, you know, there's a lot of
there's more capacity for you to be.
There's more capacity for you to be all those different things. But then there are some seasons where it's so demanding on you that you can't spread yourself so thin.
That's right.
So you need to know which, okay, in this season I am a wife and I am this. And those are the two things right now that I have the capacity for. But the wife part always has to come first in a way. It always has to be there. But I love how understanding you've been because it's been a crazy season. And I think you've stepped up more in this season because I've been so under pressure at work and there's so much happening. You've been like almost like a superhero, you know. So I really love that because you see that my wife is really going through she's going through life right now. You know, so so I think in this season it's more. But I do try my best to be intentional also about that and not like negate everything because I'm so under pressure here. So sometimes you can feel like I'm just gonna leave everything and I'm just gonna become like so laser focused here, but you forget that I actually wear all of these hats.
In the midst of you being an employee, having deadlines and everything, you're still a wife. That doesn't change the fact that
yes, I'm still a wife,
Yeah.
but also I love that I have a supportive husband who understands also would say, like even with you, with some seasons you were very busy, especially last year with your India functions and or you have to travel, and in those moments you can't do some things that you usually do, and I need to step in that part because I mean you're under pressure, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think you're right, because, and I think as the men or the husbands, we also have this romanticized idea of what marriage will be like.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that, you know, let me say this. A good friend of mine was talking about his wife this one time, way before we got married, and he was telling me about how she changes, you change. There's seasons. One day you are. One day we're gonna have kids, and then the way that I husband will have to change. And I think the way that we enter into, because I had discussions with friends too, and I'm not gonna even enter into how ridiculous some of them were, but we also enter into this marriage with this romanticized idea of how I want my wife to be. I want my wife to be submissive. I want her to cook every time when I come back. And we don't realize that marriage, like anything, has seasons. Seasons change. For example, your job, as you said, is very demanding right now. That means that I had to step up, and stepping up required me to come out of the mold of what I thought marriage will look like in that season.
Yes.
Because if we truly say that marriage is about sacrifice, what are we sacrificing for? You're sacrificing your will for the good of the other person. And when I come out of that mold and choose to be the husband because the husband that you become is the husband that you needed in that season. Let me say it like this. The husband that I need to become or be is the husband that you need in the season that you're in right now. So because your job is so demanding, I can't expect you to come back from being on your feet from 9 to 5, sometimes 6, 7, 8 on certain days, and expect you to still be in the kitchen on your feet cooking a meal for me. What does that mean? That means I need to pick up a broom and sweep the house. And that requires you to be very emotionally intelligent as a husband, to know that this responsibility that I'm doing right now, it doesn't make me any less of a man. In fact, it makes you more of a man, because you are filling the gap for where your wife is not able to in that season. It would be another thing if you said, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and that's not.
But you love doing those things.
Yes.
You love cleaning the house. You love cooking. But right now you're in a season where you don't have that capacity. And I, as a husband, need to step in. And nobody told me that this would be the case when you got married.
Yeah.
And so what you find is that some men enter into marriage, and then when they're in marriage, they're like, this is not the idea of marriage that I thought it would be. And then it causes resentment. It causes bitterness. Yeah. And there's something that you said which is very important. The last time we had a discussion, we spoke about conflict management. And you said, and I just want you to speak a little bit into this. You said that one of the reasons that a lot of people still separate, or a lot of people have harsh times in marriage, is that they don't communicate uncommunicated expectations. They don't talk about, this is how I feel in this season, this is how I feel when you do this is how I feel. And so we sweep it under the rug, trying to avoid the conflict. But what it does is that it ends up creating this resentment, which festers on and on and on.
Yeah.
And eventually people find themselves in a marriage that they hate, where the two people are just roommates and not really married.
That's true.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit as to how that works? Like, what happens when people in marriage, what's the importance of transparency in marriage? Why should we talk about things that don't sit well with us when we're married?
Yeah, so I think, you know what happened there? My sister told me about this statistic that people who usually separate are people who there's been things that were happening that they don't deal with.
Yeah.
Like in the moment, you know. And me and you, we're very good with that. Me, I'm maybe too much.
Because I'm a conflict avoider, so my wife.
I'm like a.
Yeah, my wife is like, let's sit down, let's talk about this, and move on.
Yes, you were like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think that but for me, I think I'm too much into that. Nami, I'm learning that
Too much into it.
like I need to learn how to let some things go. I'm not saying Phela manje ukuthi everything must be a thing.
Okay.
And for me, sometimes everything can be a thing, but I'm trying to learn how to, not everything must be a thing. You know, there are things that are a thing, but not everything is a thing, you know. So, but it's important that when something happens that you feel like, le is genuinely hurting me.
Yeah.
Like it genuinely hurt me. Like even if it's a comment or whatever happens, it's important to deal with that thing because, or tell the person, hey, yeah, but no, you know, and you guys may fight and argue about it, but at least, you know, your heart is not burdened, you know. So now you're just walking around, and then all of these things are deposited.
They build up.
Yes, they're gonna build up over time because now you are so, I don't know, like every day we are together every day. And that means every day there's an opportunity where something can happen.
That's right.
And then now every day you say something and then I take it, and then you say another thing and then I take it.
It's like a bank that you're storing up all that.
Yes, but you don't realize
that
in
it's
your
building up.
you're not conscious about it. It's like more in your subconscious.
Yes.
It's like something that is happening that the enemy can also use. Yeah, the enemy can always dig in there and say, remember that day, remember this, and this person has no clue that all of this has been happening behind the scenes. So I think it's important, but also, as I'm saying, not everything is a thing. So you are good with that. Not everything is a thing, but I'm bad with that. But you also you know, you avoid. I'm more of the
confront the issue.
Yes, I want to confront the issue, which I think is good to confront.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing that I love about you, baby, because it gives us a balance in our marriage. Because how I see it is, if enough things go unaddressed, they can cause a drifting. And the thing about when anything drifts slowly, it is unnoticeable. You know. Then 5 years down the line, you find yourself angry or bitter, or you're not enjoying being married, and you don't even know why.
You don't know why. Yeah.
You don't realize that there's been an emotional offense has caused an emotional drifting away from each other. So I think conflict. I'm learning as much of a conflict avoider as I am. I'm learning to appreciate conflict because I realize that. And this requires a lot of emotional maturity from both of us. I'm realizing that every single time we have a moment of conflict, it always results in us being more closer together afterwards.
Yes.
It creates more understanding and giving you the opportunity, which is what most husbands don't do because we are taught that the wife must submit to the point where she can't even communicate how she feels about certain things. It creates this connection and closeness to each other to give me an understanding. Okay, my wife doesn't like it when I say that. My wife doesn't like it when I do that. My wife doesn't like. She's been letting certain things happen, and she hasn't been addressing it for the good of you, trying to be a good wife. But now I know, and when I know that you don't like that, I'm able to adjust because that's the key of conflict resolving. Are you willing to make the necessary adjustments when your spouse says, hey, I don't like this, which is what other people are not willing to do.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think this has been a good first episode. What do you think?
I think it's been a very good episode.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think as we move on, there's so many things that we're going to share, you know, but I think that was things that I've like
learned so far.
We learned, that we are continuously learning because I don't think you'll arrive or, you know.
It's a lifelong journey.
Yeah, you get better, but you're not going to get there.
That's right.
Yeah.
True, guys. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Be looking forward to the next episodes. From me, Thabiso Lopako, peace out. And from my beautiful wife, say bye to the guys.
Bye, guys.
Till the next one.